Welcome back to our Senior Bowl preview here, folks. We just took a look at the running back position earlier this week. Now we're going to take a look on the offensive side of the ball, at the wide receiver position for all the talent at the Senior Bowl this week in Mobile, Alabama. The game will be played this Saturday, January 30th. We're going to have all the coverage here, ProFootballNetwork.com. I'm Cody Rourke, Senior NFL Analyst for ProFootballNetwork.com, to talk about the wide receiver position extensively, about some of these under-the-radar prospects. We're bringing in Ian Cummings and Dalton Miller, Senior NFL Draft Analyst here for ProFootballNetwork.com. Ian, obviously I want to get things started off with you when it pertains to the wide receiver position in general. Who are you looking at this week? And obviously, what are some of the traits that when you look at a wide receiver prospect that maybe is not billed, maybe as a round one guy, what type of traits do some of these receivers need to display at practice and also in the game this upcoming week to maybe impress coaches and scouts to maybe potentially be a steal, maybe at the end of round one, mid-round one, or even early second round?
Yeah. When you ask who are you watching, the easier question might be who are you not watching? I mean, this is such a good, deep receiving class, and that translates to the Senior Bowl, a lot of depth there. As it pertains to the skill set you're looking for, it's really versatile. Receivers have a lot of different skill sets, so you need to know who you're watching and what you're watching for. That said, what will show out at the Senior Bowl, I think, is route running suddenness, some competitive fire, especially in those one-on-one situations. And one guy I'm looking at to potentially thrive there is UAB wide receiver Austin Watkins. He's the cousin of Sammy Watkins. And this guy, I'm just going to say, he does not have enough buzz right now. He is a dog. He's such a competitive player. He's got size. He's got good athleticism, I think. He's not burner speed, but I think he has good enough speed, really sudden as a route runner, agile. And he just gets in your face. And down the field, he has good contested catch ability and body control and contortion ability too. So I think he has a lot of those playmaking traits. And I could honestly see him rising up. The receiver class is so deep. It's got so many good options that it's tough to commit to him as a day two guy. But I mean, if he shows out, I feel like he's the guy who really has those traits because he's competitive and he's such a detailed, deceptive route runner, really underrated in that area. And he has the athletic traits to maximize that. So I'm very excited to see what he can do.
Well, Dalton, I'm going to throw it at you now. Obviously the NFL Combine, it's not going to happen the way we traditionally have seen it. Players are going to get their respective pro days at the universities. Because of that, I think that's going to impact so many different players that maybe are under the radar that didn't get an invite to the Senior Bowl, or maybe that have been invited to the Senior Bowl. It's going to affect, I think, the overall perception of them. Now, who is it that you have your eye on in this week's festivities at practice and obviously the game on Saturday?
Well, like Ian said, there's a ton of guys that we have our eyes on here, but one of the skill sets that doesn't normally translate as well at the Senior Bowl are the 50-50 guys, the big-bodied receivers who aren't really known for their route running. They seem to have more difficult times at the Senior Bowl. One guy I'm really looking for that is like that is Michigan's Nico Collins. He was a big-time recruit. He's 6'4", 220 pounds, height, weight, speed guy, good early production, even with, Shea Patterson, who I know went to the NFL and is around, but wasn't the most accurate quarterback in the world. He really showed out, even despite, some of the poor quarterback play. If he can have a big week, despite not really being the type of receiver that can thrive at an event like the Senior Bowl, I really think that his stock could rise quite a bit. And then just to add on a couple more names outside of that, Thailand Wallace, just showing that he can be healthy out there. I mean, he makes some of the most ridiculous catches you'll ever see. Yeah. And then Amari Rogers for me is one who, just like Ian said with Watkins, might not be getting enough buzz. And it's kind of weird because he's a Clemson wide receiver. They just don't do a ton in that offense, but he is the modern yak receiver going into the NFL. 5'9", 210 pounds, built like a running back. And he has legitimate long speed, even with those shorter legs. I think that he could have a big week if he's able to show off some route running prowess.
And I'll add one more too. Western Michigan's Dwayne Estridge, really explosive, super competitive. He switched to slot cornerback one year and actually played very well. This guy, he doesn't quit either. He's got those explosive traits that stand out as well. So bottom line, you really shouldn't overlook any name. You should really be looking to do your homework and making sure you know these guys because down the line they could do something special.
And Jim Nagy, I think, has done a phenomenal job identifying the underrated talent that doesn't get talked about enough, giving them the platform, and then they take it from there. And obviously, at the wide receiver position, it's always those positions where you're going to get a lot of guys invited and a lot of talent there that is going to elevate their stock come NFL draft time, folks. But we hope you enjoyed this wide receiver preview for the Senior Bowl this week. Practice goes on all week long, and then the game this Saturday, January 30th. We'll have coverage here at ProFootballNetwork.com. Also, be sure to check out Tony Pauline, our NFL draft insider for the Pro Football Network, and be sure to check out his work. He's there in Mobile all week long. He's going to give you some inside scoop as to what's going on, buzz generating, whose stock is rising, whose stock is falling. But next time we do one of these previews, we're going to take a look at the tight end position this week in Mobile.